Today in the wood yard, more snow, and we have a visitor coming today. Ooh. So winter continues here, and a little bit of snow came last night. We're supposed to get another 2 inches tonight, but it's a beautiful day outside. It's sunny and everything. We only got about an inch, if that. But I got to get rid of it, so I'm going to do some snow blowing, and then I'm going to do some work back in the wood yard. And I do have a visitor coming today that's guy wants to take a look at the Eastonmade Ultra. He's thinking of getting one, so he's going to come take a peek at it. So we're going to get blowing right now. There, that little job is done. That didn't take too long. It was the right amount of snow. It was maybe an inch, and it was the right kind of snow. It was a real dry, fine snow. Blew really nice. So the parking lot is done, and now I can head back to the wood yard, and I'm going to cut some the oak logs back here because I have a guy coming to take a look at the splitter, and we have to have something to split because I got all my splitting done. Was that 2 nights ago? Yeah, 2 nights ago I got it all done. So now I got to do a little bit of cutting so that we have something to split. I'm only going to cut maybe a tank of gas. We'll see how it goes. I'll cut for maybe an hour or so, something like that. I'm not even going to snow blow the wood yard. Just a little bit of snow is no big deal. And we're supposed to get another inch or two in the next day or two, and then I'll snow blow the rest of it. So yeah, I'm just going to cut a few of these logs in here and have something for the splitter to split in just a little bit. So Be right back. So the first thing I'm going to do before I cut is I'm going to shovel off some of the snow off the top of these logs here. And I know right now what some of you are thinking, if that darn Chris would just buy a backpack blower, he could blow all that snow right off. Well, if you want to send me one, I'll take it. But I have a shovel and it works just fine. I actually think a snow blower, a leaf blower, backpack blower would have a hard time with some of this snow because a lot of this is heavy, stuck on, frozen snow. I don't think it would blow it off. I mean, it might. Some of you probably know more than I do about it. But for now, I'm just gonna brush it off with a shovel. It's not that much. For the amount of time it would take me to go get the backpack, carry it out here, start it up, blow it off. I can have this done 3 times. There, good enough. Then as I cut, as the logs come down, the snow falls off anyway. And I actually like the snow on there because it actually makes it easy for measuring, because it gives me a good measurement for when I'm going with the marker on my saw here. This little doodad. Because for those of you that maybe haven't seen this before, from my bar right here to out here, 16 inches. So when I'm cutting, all I do is I just look over to where this little pink piece of tape is, and I know that's 16 inches. I also have marks on my bar right here and right here. It's 16 inches from the tip from there to there. That's how I measure. It's fast, easy, no tools required. You just do it. And this was about 10 cents. I think actually 9 cents actually is what it comes to. I think there was $9 for a pack of 100 of them. So yeah, about 9 cents a piece for these. So pretty cheap. Here we go. Time to cut. I am now soaking wet on the inside, and it's about 4 degrees, but there's not much wind today, so it's not bad at all. The sun is out. I even heard the birds singing a little while ago. So that was just one tank that I just cut up. I'll show you the pile here in just a second. I had to get a little bit of wood here so that when the guy comes to take a look at the splitter, he has something to split. You can't have him just look at it and fondle it. You gotta let him actually use it. Because that's the really only way to know how a machine works, is to run it. If you're buying stuff by just looking at it on the showroom floor or in a catalog or just pictures of it, that doesn't do much. Seeing it run on YouTube helps a lot, especially if somebody does good video and you get different angles and they tell you the truth about it instead of just hyping it if they're trying to sell it. But if you get someone that's using it like I do, I'm not gonna hide any of the warts or blemishes. If there is any, you're gonna know about them. So just gonna finish chucking all this these rounds over to the pile, and we'll have something to split when he gets here. There it is, moved. Here's the pile. That is one tank, and if I had to guess, it's probably just about a full cord, maybe a little less. Because I had to chuck the rounds, it does take a little longer, to cut a full cord when you're chucking them like that, because I got the saw set down a lot of the times when I'm, moving rounds out of the way, so you're not cutting during that time. But if I can cut just steady, I can easily do a full cord an hour with the saws I have, if they're sharp, which they usually are. But there you go. Now we got something to split.
Well, Mike's big debut on YouTube was a fail because my mic died. So I'm just blabbering on here about all kinds of stuff, and I'm going to have to do a voiceover for you. So there he is. There's Mike. He's north of me like 30 miles or so, and he cuts a lot of wood, burns wood, and wants to maybe do a little bit of a wood side business, and he was very interested in the Eastonmade Ultra. He saw it on my channel and he wanted to take a look at it firsthand for himself and see what it did. So right now, if I remember right, there's a plane flying over. There it is. Anyway, it was kind of loud right there, so I couldn't talk anyway. Yeah, so he wanted to look at the splitter and actually get hands-on and run it and get an idea of, what it does, how it works, and compare it to what he's got now. Now I'm going to ask him a few questions here, and he told me that he has a splitter. He has a Spico that he bought at Fleet Farm, which is a local box type store. It's a man's store. They have everything a man could want. I believe they've got around 30 locations around the Midwest, maybe more, I don't know, but very good store. Everything you could want, they have. Just telling about how the wedge is adjustable up and down, but I have it at the height about where I like it. I've tried it higher and I've tried it lower, but with the size pieces I have, it's like about 4 inches or so. He's talking right there, 4 or 5 inches. So the smaller rounds just slide right underneath it. You get a single split on them, which works good. And the bigger ones, obviously, when you go through, you get a four chunks out of it, and then you can resplit them if you want. So I told him, I said, go ahead, start her up. And so it's starting cold here. It hadn't run yet today. And it's about 4 degrees out, so maybe 6 degrees, something like that. But so anyways, turning the choke on, turn the switch on. I think he starts at 1 pull, if I remember right. I think it starts right up. And he was impressed with that, he said, because his splitter, he said, usually yanks on it quite a while trying to get it started. His splitter is about $1,000 splitter, similar to my old one that I had. And then here, what I like to do before I start splitting is just let the engine run a little bit, and then run the hydraulic fluid, a little bit with the ram back and forth, just to get things flowing before I put a lot of strain on it. And when I start splitting, I usually will start out with smaller rounds right away in the beginning when I'm splitting, instead of putting big monster pieces on there that are going to really cause a lot of stress on it. So that's generally what I do, is kind of do that. So I'm going to let him go to town here. He's got safety glasses on. And so I told him, I said, you go right ahead. And I just kind of gave him a little demonstration here that I usually run the lever with my left hand, obviously if I'm on the side that I'm on there. And I told him to make sure he keeps his hand on top of the wood and do not put his fingers on the ends, and let him go to town here, because it is a very fast ram, in and out. It really moves right along. So I was telling him here, what I usually do is I just chuck the pieces off to the side, and if they're dry pieces, I throw them behind him back there. And when I split them open, usually you can tell if a piece is really dry or really wet, and if we just let it dry some more, I throw it to the big pile. So I told him to hop in there and go ahead and start running some rounds through there. And right away he gave me the bug eye look, like, holy smokes, this thing is fast. Because he's used to a very slow, 12, probably 13, 14 second cycle time, and this is like 4 seconds or 4.5, whatever it is. It's fast. So it's in and out. So I did a little camera work here, just kind of running the camera so you could see different angles as he was going here, and he was just looking to see how easy it split, and he's kind of amazed at how fast it pops apart, because with a slow splitter, it's a real gradual pop, and then it kind of rams it through, and you can hear it crackling and popping. And with this splitter, it's through. It's through real quick here. We were just talking about how what I usually do is, if I get a piece that looks like it needs to be split more, I'll throw it off to the side. And I told them, a lot of times when I'm splitting, I'll take pieces, if they're damp, and I'll put it up to my lips, and you can feel if there's moisture on the wood. And if it looks dry and it feels dry to your lips, it's pretty darn dry. So I chuck it over to a pile to the side so I can sell those pieces right away. Then he's just kind of looking to see how dry these were. Some of these smaller rounds that I get from the dead standing wood that is cut, it's pretty darn dry a lot of times. I mean, it's right down close to 20% right off the bat, and that's on the inside. There'll be 20, 22, 23% on the inside like that, and usually it's just the very center that's got a little moisture to it. And so yeah, he's just kind of trying some different pieces there that were shaped odd, just to see what it would do. And I think in a little while here, I tell him to grab a big, gnarly, nasty, knotty crotch piece. I think, yeah, it's coming up right here. I showed him one over on the side here. That one right there, yeah. So I told him, I said, take that over and give that a try, because if you really want to test out the splitter, you got to put a nasty piece of crap up there and see what it'll do. And you can see that's a crotch. It's a good thing he's a strong guy. He picked that up pretty good. You're strong. So carried it over, which normally I wouldn't do. Usually I try to move the splitter to the wood. That's why we keep it kind of close like that. I'm just telling him a lot of times what I'll do is I'll try to take off the good side first, like that. I'll put it on the side, kind of work off of the side. What he just said there is, he said what he likes about it is he really likes the big table to work on. And he said that his splitter now just has a little bit of rack off to the side like my old splitter did. And he likes the fact that you can, shove the pieces off to the sides and have like a staging area for your pieces that you want to run back through again, and there's a place to put them. So he was going to try to ram this one through, and I think it just kind of, some of it goes through, but it's got plenty of power to get through the nice straight grained, which was right on that the side that he was on there, and he's going to flip it around and try to get the crotch to go through. And I think it just busts right apart, if I remember right. So yeah, I think he's having fun. Look at that, he's smiling. It's like he's a new kid. I mean, like a kid with a new toy. Not a new kid, big kid with a new toy. That's what it's like. So anyway, yep, he's just kind of arranging the table there, and any new machine, when you're running it, it takes a while to kind of figure out, the logistics of where to move what, when, and how, and, how to position things, and kind of get a system in place. And in a little while here, I'm going to have him stay on that side he's on. We're going to move the splitter a little closer, to the pile. So all he has to do is literally turn around, grab a piece, and set it up there. And then I'm going to run the lever, and it's going to show him how fast two guys working together can pump wood through this thing, because it is so fast. And I actually think I think you can produce more wood with two guys with this splitter than a lot of the bigger splitters that just aren't as quick. This one's lighter and more nimble, and the ram is faster, and with two guys you can really fly through the chunks of wood. So yeah, he's just kind of putting this one here that's kind of a nasty piece through there. And as you guys know, that people that split wood, you kind of got to read the wood somewhat when you're running it through there. You got to kind of look and see where the straight grain is, where the odd size pieces are, that you know you're going to take a chance of it, doing what it just did there. A chunk will come out of it, and you really don't get much out of it. Sometimes you're better off just leaving the bigger ones like that. And I think it makes for good firewood anyway. So yeah, here he's just going to throw up some pieces, and I'm going to come around and we're going to do a little production splitting here. This particular way of doing it works fantastic with two guys, because it really is. Just watch. It's as fast as you can feed it. And I told them when I have my high school kids helping me, or college kids, I just tell them, feed me. Just feed me the wood. Just keep it going. I want the pieces to basically almost touch each other end to end as they go through, with really not much of a break. And that's kind of what happens. If you just let them fall off the edge, you can really go. Now, a lot of times when I'm splitting like this, I will want the splitter, I want to have the engine, which is on my right side right now, and it's on Mike's left side. I want the engine to be in the wood pile that you're getting the wood from. So you work your way into it. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And you want the end of the splitter, which would be like in front of us right there. You want that to be facing the wood pile that your split pieces are, so they can just fall right off of it, so that you're not actually having to handle the wood any more than you have to, as far as throwing it out of the way. If you let it just fall off the edge, it works out really nice, because by doing that, you don't have to touch it as much. And as the wood builds up, as the ram is pushing the pieces off the edge into the pile, the ram actually will move the splitter pretty easily. I mean, it doesn't work that hard at all. Because it's frozen ground, the leg on the jack just slides really good. It's on wheels, and I can move it pretty easily myself. And the ram is way stronger than me, so it moves it along really well. So yeah, we're just kind of ramming the pieces through here, and trying to see, give Mike kind of an idea of how fast this thing runs. It gives you guys a good idea too. And he's split wood before. He's no rookie at this. He knows what he's doing. He hits his house with wood. He's got a old farmhouse, and he's got a wood stove, so he goes through a bunch of wood. He told me he's got like the last piece of land that was left over from a big farm that was cut up into sections. I think, if I remember right, he told me he's got 14 or 17, somewhere in the teens. Maybe it's 20 acres, something like that. So he's got like a couple acres of field, and then a bunch of woods. So and he likes living out there. He said it's nice and quiet, and he's got a lot of space, so he really likes it. So I can tell he enjoys being outside. Now, he was telling me he just, not too long ago, about like a year maybe less, he bought a brand new tractor, and he was telling me about it. I'm going to check out the brand that he got. He got a Branson tractor. We'll talk more about that in a second. What I'm showing him here is how you got to be careful when you got pieces in there. Sometimes they can get lodged in there crooked. You can have a piece like these two together, and if you put your fingers down on the edge there to go to grab them, and another piece comes through, it can push up against the wall there on the edge of the table. It can pinch your fingers. So you got to kind of be careful with that. That's one of the flaws of this. I think these 90-degree edges, the lips that are on the edge of this table, should be 45 degrees, so the wood can slide up and over, but yet so they'll stay. So back to the tractor. He told me he bought this tractor. It's a 47 horsepower, if I remember right. It's a Branson tractor, which I had heard of, but never really, talked to anybody that had one, or I never really looked at them. He bought it locally, right in town where I live. There's a dealer, and he had the tires weighted recently so that he can lift more with it. And I believe he told me it lifts right around 3,000 pounds in the bucket, or 2,700 pounds, something like that. 47 horsepower, and He got some attachments with it. I forget it all, totally what he got, but a bunch of different things. And he got the whole deal for like $25,000 or $26,000. So I went online and I looked these tractors up, and they look pretty darn nice. So I'm gonna consider one of those to buy when it's time to buy a tractor, because I've been looking a lot lately. I've looked at John Deere's. Obviously my brother's got one. I looked at the TYM. My other brother's got one of them. I looked at the New Holland Ford tractors. There's a dealership in town that has those. I looked at those a little bit. I've looked at what was the other one? Mahindra. I looked at a Mahindra. They look pretty nice. Let's see, I said John Deere already. Coyote. Considering a Coyote, that's a possibility. They seemed pretty nice. I know Dan at Back 40 has one of those, and he likes it. And they're real nice tractors. And so yeah, there's the orange one. What the heck are those? Kubota. That's what I was trying to think. Kubota. That's the other one I'm considering. I like the color. It would match my splitter. No, just kidding. It doesn't matter. I don't care what color it is, as long as it's not pink or purple. Those are two colors I think I'll stay away from. But anyway, we're just going to split a whole bunch more here. I think we split for another 15-20 minutes, but that should give you an idea, and I think it's enough splitting for now.
So Mike left. Obviously, you just heard I did a voiceover. My mic died on me. I just went and recharged it now. Yeah, so right when he was talking, it had died just before that, so you got to see what we did anyway. Did a little bit of splitting. He liked it. He said it was fast. He said it was scary. Way faster than he has a Speco, like I mentioned, and he said that this is what he would like to get, or it's one he's definitely considering. So anyway, that is it for today, folks. I got stuff I got to go do in my other business now, so I got to go do some other work. So what I want you to do now is take your finger and do the jabby thing, poke the buttons, hit the like, subscribe, share thing, do all that. That'd be great if you did. And tomorrow I'm going to be back here in the wood yard. You should be back here in the wood yard, because this is the place to be, as you know. And I will see you tomorrow. And I'm going to go say goodnight to Irene now.